Bear with us.
Richmore
All right, all
Radio.
right, all right, all right. Okay, okay. Hi, Richmond Media friends. I hope you're all doing well. I'm Gidi saying I am here. Nyame Ache Dafofro. He's given us another day. If it's your first time on Richmond Radio, Richmond Media, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you share the link. Share the link so someone else can benefit from this. Today, we're going to talk about the benefits of physical therapy. Yeah, apomodin, nipadua nyame ɛde ama yɛn no, yɛbɛyɛ den na yɛnyɛ so mfasoɔ to the maximum. All the things we can do to help ourselves in any situations, the things that we should do, the things that we should not do. We're here to talk about it. And see, as we're about to start, share the link, share the link, share the link, share the link, and let's let's talk. Okay, so today, how is going to happen? I'm just going to talk very, 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 very briefly about one subject that I will announce very shortly. And then from there, I'll give the opportunity for people to call or ask any questions because we do we have a lot of questions that we have because there is in fact a study has shown that there is no human being that does not have a physical problem. Somehow, no, unfortunately, yeah, yeah, well, nipadua mu haw kakra. So we hear Richmond Media is bringing this talk, to help you, to help me, and to help a brother of yours, to find out the best way you can deal with your physical aspect. All right, all right. So what we're going to talk about today are the basic things. They're called fundamental movements. So basically, like you know, there's this thing that I think we all know. We have the seven wonderful monuments of the world, or however you call it. And we have um, you know, in the therapy world, we have things that we want to do every day as human beings, every day. So we'll call it the seventh functional movement. If you're here, you're listening, please get a pen for BB, natural. Ask questions because it's going to be very, very interactive. And hopefully you'll be issue. I'm just going to recap a bit because what I'm going to talk about is a continuation from what I was talking about last week. If you missed it, you can go back to Richmond Media YouTube and you'll find the session we had last week. So last week we spoke about how it's beneficial to stretch. Mainly that's what we spoke about. The benefits of stretching. That what did we say? It increases flexibility, increases your range of motion. So, what stretch your muscles they elongate and you can reach further. We say, as we said, no, obi juma na so about 10-hour shift ABI without stretching after the 10 hours, no, you'll be tired, but you find say the more you stretch, or if stretching becomes part of your routine, I feel juma I feel improves your performance, increase increases your blood flow to the muscles. It improves the posture, the way I will see Gina or the way I will see Nantifa. It prevents injuries. The more flexible you are, the less likely you are to have injuries. It releases stress. Because the more you stretch, it's a form of exercise, meaning that it releases hormones. It releases hormones system anymore. Meaning say you'll feel less stress and you feel more happy. So by virtue, it calms your mind. It calms your mind. Say, oh, you cry if you exercise, I feel be say I drink coffee. and then it decreases muscle ache. So you need to be a when I'm here, very on a very regular basis, then stretching or physical and any physical activities will help you. Will help you. So today, as I said, we're going to talk about 7 functional movements, and again, Chibibre, because I want to give the opportunity for people to ask questions. So please, as I said, there's a research that says that every single human being, ewo, nipadua mu how. Call a friend, tell a brother, tell a sister, catch mama, catch papa, that they should join Richmond Media now so they can ask the questions. They can call. Um, the phone number will be given. We'll give the line that you can phone to ask any questions that you may have. Today is to have an interactive one. See, Abra me father niebeka wasem and the 7 functional movements. Uh, get ready to call. Get ready to ask any questions that you have. All right. So 7 functional movement. The first one is squat. Squat. I think saying now we know what a squat is. We know what a squat is. Today, I'm not going to do any physical demonstration, but I will explain and you will understand. I'm sure so at some point, Richmond Media will be able to bring you maybe more practical examples, in terms of how we do things, how we're supposed to do things. But squats, we know squat, we know say um you know, for the lay person, for a squat in layman's term is if basically say okuto, if you basically um go down basically, or you basically uh I'm just trying to find the best way to describe it, but basically using your knees, you basically hinge your knees down and basically bring your bottom forward. That's a squat. That's a squat, or in other words, is the act of sitting down. When you sit down, if you're stood up and you sit down, you're doing a squat. Yeah. So, um, what they say, what research states about squats is that when you do it, there are 2 things. As I said, and we are going to educate ourselves. When you squat, the 2 main things that you should be focusing on are your core muscles. I mean, baby, here before as Ghanaians we would call it baby, it's just the under your abdomen. Inti wayase honum no, just under the abdomen, there is a group of muscles that we call the core muscles. So it's even under the abs. Oh, yeah, well, you have abdominals that we can physically see, but then we have core muscles that are deep within. And these are the muscles that, on a daily, if we are able to apply these 7 things we're going to speak about now, it will help us. So you have to engage those muscles. You have to engage those. I mean, in fact, as a matter of fact, at some point we are going to talk about core muscles, how we activate it, how it is activated, the things we should do. So when you squat, you should focus on, those muscles deep within. And an example to know if you are there, you can put your hands just under your lower abdomen, and if you make a sharp noise, for example, like hey, if you do like hey very sharply, you should feel something moving there, and then you know that your core muscles are engaged. So you make sure those core muscles are engaged. Second point, you make sure that your bum muscles, that your glute muscles are a yet to know. The bum muscles are nicely contracted as you go down. And then thirdly, your back remains straight. Most of the time, it be we have a arched back. We have an arched back. That doesn't help because over time you're actually putting stress on your lumbar spine. And as a matter of fact, on almost all sections of your spine, until you want to always have a neutral spine as you sit down. Until if you come up, always be aware that one, you're using your core muscles. Two, you are contracting your glute muscles. Three, you keep your back nicely aligned. That's for the squat. When you twist, they say something, twist, don't turn. If you're going to remember anything from today, remember these two things. Twist, but don't turn. Yeah. If you if you twist, if you twist, it's more healthy in the sense that I mean, depending on what you want to do, depending on what you want to do, it, a twist, as you know, so we're talking about the things that we can do to the seven functional movements, right? So when we twist, if you turn, you're just turning, you're not engaging much. But if you twist, again, all part of the core muscles, making sure that your back is well aligned and twisting, you make sure that you twist like this. So it's not, for example, one hand is here and then this hand twist is, no, is a whole twist, is a whole movement. Everything twists together. Everything twists together. So that's the twist. For the lunge, an example of lunge is actually walking. But walking is an variation of smaller lunge. It's basically the fact of basically putting one foot after the other and stretching or should I say using your hips in a rotatory way like so, lunges. And then sometimes if you want to do it the extreme way or even stretch, yeah, I'm sure you've seen those type of exercise where you put your foot and then you lean on it. Ebi a odo nine ba kuko na fe
Richmore
ukosa
Radio.
you just lean on it to be able to stretch it. The fourth functional movement is push. Push. Say push ade. Push ade. As I said today, we're talking about the seven functional movements. You may think, say, oh, but these things we do it, but that's the whole point of tonight's talk because these are seven things that we do in our daily life. Ɛyɛ nneɛma a yɛyɛ ndɛɛdeda nyinaa ɛwɔ yɛn adwuma mu, abra a yɛwɔ fie, abra a yɛyɛ aduane, abra a yɛhoro nkukɔ mu, say yɛwɔ mma abra a yɛdware wɔn. Anything that we do, we use these functional movements. So we are now trying to find the best way to do them so that our body, our core muscles, and the structures in your media mind can be preserved. All right. So pushing. So the best way to push, is to make sure again everything is how you align yourself and how you center yourself. If you push with arched back and you push and if you push something heavy, you may even hurt yourself. So most of the time, or all the time, you must put yourself in your strongest position, nicely aligned, back aligned, and then you push like so. You push like so. So you're pushing with your chest, you're pushing with your back. Everything is contracted. Those core muscles. As I said, there will be talk on the core muscles, and we will learn a lot from it because now if physicians or health workers like myself would talk about the human body and how it's structured, it actually allows us to see God's divinity and how God is just amazing. He thought about everything. I remember dream and he gave us and he created us with specific things in our human body in order to move and to basically have the best um the best way of life possible. you know Unfortunately, one thing yeah, humans we find ourselves guilty of is that we've learned wrong habits. Even the way we stand, so that the way you stand on one side, or sometimes you stand forward or you stand backwards. And because you've done that your whole life, akaoho, muscles do have a memory. Therefore, they need to be taught again. When you're learning to do something right again, you have to do it over and over and over and over and over and over until say the muscle will remember, say, oh, actually, so now this is how it is now. So now it means I have to act this way. Now I have to focus on this when I do this. So this is very interesting, as I was saying. The fifth one is pulling. When you pull, is the same thing. Pushing, what was I saying? You align yourself back straight, core straight, glute muscle straight, and contracted, and then you push. Pulling is the same thing. Free. You see, so if we understand here what's happening is that the act is not in the movement. The act is how you gauge your body. You see, if you push just like that, you might get injured. But if you brace yourself and then you make a push or a pull, you're most likely to have an effective push or pull, and you're most likely to not get injured, and you may not even feel it. You'll find that if you're picking up something on the floor, for example, you're going back to the squat, say, oh, for baby, free for ma, na okoto, see, obe sorry, no, fe, usisi, na also usisi mo. That's because you bend it. But when you're picking up something on the floor, you should not bend. You should squat. So basically, if you want to pick something on the floor, you should go down like this. You go down like this and you pick it up, keeping your back straight. If you bend like so, your back is curved. The muscles of the lumbar spine are stressed, and it brings a whole lot. So one thing that you can remember today is don't bend, but squats. All right. Hinging. Hinging is how can I even explain this word? Hinging is basically is another aspect of rotating, is rotational movement. Rotational movement. Rotational movement. The fact that as I said, so first I said what does it? I said twist but don't turn. So rotation is something you see God has given us joints. Um okay, let me bring us something so we understand what I'm saying. God has given us muscles, which is what we use to make movements, right? He's given us neural capacities. Neural capacity, the my thing can say, for example, yapera, or say something's happening. If I'm touching you, if right now you didn't have any neural sensation, if I touch you like this, you won't even feel say I'm touching you. That's the nerve part. He's given us bones, and kase. The bones, no, is what basically is the skeletal system. Skeletal system is what protects everything, because everything is protected by the skeletal system. Skeletal system. That's why, most of the time, you, if you fall down, you may have a broken bone, because the bone, might take most of the shock. We also have, the cardiovascular system, that is, the ability of the blood being pumped, but it's not that relevant. What I'm saying
Richmore
here
Radio.
is that so bringing on to, we have joints. The last thing that was bringing, we have joints. Joints is what basically is as the word says, no, a idea, a connected a nyoma. So you have a joint that will, for example, will connect your your elbow, your elbow. So basically your radius and ulnar to, for example, the muscles or the bone of the main arm. But you see, then there's a joint here. So we have the forearm, and then we have the main muscle, and then there's the joint that connects here. Same as
Richmore
for the leg.
Radio.
We have the main thigh, then we have the knee joint, we have the knee, and then the knee connects to where? To, the tibia and fibula, where the calf is. So the knee is a joint. And the knee, no, so no, that's why the knee. So a joint can only be rotated in a in few movements. So, for example, your knee can only go two planes, front and back. You can never turn your knee to the left and right. Unless you're hypermobile. Even if you're hypermobile, Krana, it's not likely. But for example, we have joints in our neck, but our neck can rotate everywhere. You see, so we have in different aspects of our body, yetimi p, and sana nyami God knew that we would need to use our head to do many things. That's why He didn't just allow us to do forward and backwards, but we can go right, we can rotate, we can do many things. All right, and the last functional movement is walking. And as a matter of fact, walking does everything. Onantia, you're going to use your core muscles. Your core muscles are going to be engaged. How they will be engaged depends on you, but they'll be engaged. Your bum or toe muscles, no, your gluteal muscles are going to be contracted because as you walk, you're using those muscles. These are the muscles that pull you. Next, your arm, even as you walk, even if you want to walk stiff, Krana, there still be a small amount of arm movements. And lastly, your legs themselves, walking. Why is a functional movement? As you do that, as I said, it puts everything together. And walking is the best way to get the blood flow to the system. Walking because everything moves, everything is moving. It's the best way to get the blood flow to the system. So these were just an overview of the functional movements. So I'm going to repeat squats. What did we say? Don't bend but squats. Oh far deal from men chia men go from say, hey mom, try and go down in the same plane, keeping your back straight, twisting, making sure say the key things for these things, twisting, lunging, pushing and pulling, is that you keep your back straight, nice and straight, aligned, well aligned, and then you know who baby I'll call muscles just contract your abs, and by affiliation is going to contract the core muscles. But when you do that, making sure say you're always nicely braced, and then for the rest is the same. And I'm just going to give a bit of an analogy that we didn't know. The reason why, and I'm going to talk for our Black African community, especially Ghana. The reason why, for example, for and African women in general are gifted with I would say a generous shape, generous shape, when it comes to hips and generous shape. It's ebasana even in the breast area. You see, for example, for your breast, if you have a big breast, unfortunately, it puts stress on your back. Puts stress on your back. So there are things we can do. There are things we can do. Being aware that you have a big breast, there are many things that you can do or even get to correct your posture. But naturally, the common denominator is to always be aware of this thing and to do something about it. So for your breast is to make sure that you're always, stood up upright. And unfortunately, it can't always be the case because your NEPA will forget. But that's the idea. Certain will be aware just to have that awareness. And as I said, there are many things we can buy to correct that. Another thing, the bum. The bum is the one of the most is the strongest one of the strongest muscles that we have in our body. And when you walk, the reason why sometimes we have knee pain, say yeah, is because say unfortunately we have too much load, in the gluteal area. And to say sebio utoswa, if you have a generous shape in your gluteal area, you're most likely to have knee pain. But there's always a way to fix it because if you tone it down, there are ways yetimi etoni those glute muscles. Your toning muscles now, then it holds it up. And when you walk, it puts less pressure on the knee because it's a chain. That's why sometimes say any knee na any koto jina na fi akoya unai your ankles because your ankles are getting all the pressure of the walk. So there are things that we can do to help ourselves. But I think that that would be a conversation for um another time. Or as a matter of fact, if you have a question, this is the time now. You can write it on the chat on YouTube, or you can call. The number will be given right now. I think if the producers can help, we can put it in the chat, the YouTube or Mekika Nafe. We can take any calls, any questions that we may have. Okay. Feel free. You can still invite a friend, still invite Freobi. Nafe or Musa near Dana Kumaso in terms of our physical health because I idea idea we can always encourage it. It's never too late to do things right. It's never too late to do things right. If you're a young person, you may want to do these things now so that it will help you in your future. If you're an adult, so when you need mpoa, you can still make a change now and have a better quality of life as you go. Okay, feel free to ask any questions that you may have. Feel free. We'll just wait a few minutes. If not, we'll just recapitulate everything and then we'll end here for today. But please feel free to ask any questions. We are here to learn. In the previous episode, we did say how Nyame a boy said, we will take care of our bodies, and as I explained today, he designed the human body in the most perfect way. The human body no sheshe nankasa, to nebo asi sheshe, so that we will be able to, say yeah, the reason why sometimes, as I said, yeah, and we have problems is because of things that we've done to ourselves. Is done things because of things that we've done to ourselves, like unfortunately having, for example, the wrong posture for so long, or even if it comes to the neural side or mental side, things that we've experienced that makes us have or, a replication to the human body. Otherwise, Ankanyame or born perfectly. But even that, he's given us the opportunity to always do what we need to do. All right. Okay. So if you want to call, please, you can call us on 0203 286 9193. 0203 286 9193. Or you can put your questions in the chat. You can put your questions in the chat. Okay, I see some comments on YouTube from Mama Jenkins. They say, wow, I have learned one secret from your program. Thanks. You're welcome, Auntie, and I hope say Sansona wants to what's your nyoma bibre every human our human body is a gift from God, and therefore we must give ourselves the opportunity to learn how we can best deal with it. So yeah, there are many things that you can do, to sort it out. As a matter of fact, one day we also talk about the benefits of having a massage. I know, say, as Africans, it's something we are a bit a spectacle about, about having massages, but it does help. It does help. But if you have a question, please call us on 0203 286 9193. 0203 286 9193, or drop your comments in the chats. You may be surprised. Maybe your question being answered will help you and someone else that is watching. No question is stupid. If you have anything you want to say, share it and let's talk. Ilaria Melody J. Bonyan said, "Oh wow, I now know why my back always hurts. Never really cared about my posture. Thank you." You're welcome. You're welcome. And yes, posture is something very crucial and very relatable uh, in um in back pain. And unfortunately, the more you do something, not the more or the more you've had a bad posture, or the more you've been sitting the wrong way, the more you've been walking the wrong way, the more you've been bending the wrong way, it adds up, it adds up, it adds up, it adds up. But Nkaichi is never late. We can always fix it. Can always fix it because God has given us the ability to relearn and to redo the right thing so that we can benefit from that body He's given to us. All right. Okay. Feel free to call. Feel free to call. Emma Jenkins said, would like to know how to tone the big parts of our bodies. Okay, that's a very good question. So, to tone your body or to tone muscles, basically, say, tone any type of muscle. I will give an example. Okay, I'm going to take my phone case, for example. If I want to tone my bicep, so me per se my bicep near kesia. Toning is it can is not about getting a bigger muscle, but it's about making it more useful. So ebia now, as I was saying, no, ebia now you have a big you have a big glute, ebia otoso, but ebia oto no is not toned. It's not toned. And tina but if you tone it, then after, as you walk and as you do things, everything, all the shock is absorbed by that big part of your body that you worked on, the glute muscles. And because it's taking the shock, you don't experience pain anymore. So toning, I may have this muscle here, but now if I want to tone now, what I have to do is to do something, to do a repeated movement that will make it tone, basically. And I think say today may not be the right day to show the exercises we can do to tone our bodies, our glute muscles, or our calves. But the key thing, if you want to tone, is to do something, to do a repeated movement that works the area you want to tone. So there are many exercises that you can do to tone your bone. There are many exercises you can do to tone your bicep, as And that is just an example. You see, this is not exercise. I'm literally just moving. Me moving in circle. But because I'm doing a repeated movement, and if I don't know if you can see properly, but you will see that my bicep is moving. And just because the bicep is moving, it is toning. It is toning. So this is basically the secret of toning is you doing a movement that forces you or puts that muscle under stress, and you do it in a repeated manner. I don't know. Oh yeah, in a repeated manner now. By just by virtue, is going to tone. How quick it depends on all the other things that your body encounters. Your hormones and your blood flow. How quickly you tone. It depends on all of that. But as long as you do the movement related to what you want to train, is going to tone. Okay, do we have any other questions? You can still call on 0203-286-9193. 0203-286-9193. Or drop your question on the chat. Encourage Freobi. We still have a few minutes. Just going to hang around for the next 5 minutes. We know that this program is very, very beneficial. Very, very beneficial. Richmore Media and Richmore Radio, we're here to bring you benefits of physiotherapy or your physical well-being, just so that we can come out from our old ways. The way we were bending, the way we were twisting, the way we were picking things up, the way we were pushing, the way we were pulling, the way we were lunging, the way we were hinging, the way we were walking. Yes, shining now so that all the pains that we had, all all the things that our bodies have encountered, one day, it will all be gone because we're not doing it the right way. Feel free to ask your question. Feel free to call us on 0203-286-9193 or drop your message on the chat. Feel free to ask any question. I'm just going to be here for another minute or so. Okay. There don't seem to be any questions. So I'm saying we will end here today. And myself, Malcolm and Champon, would like to thank you for tuning in with Richmore Media, Richmore Radio. Yeah, that was it. Say enyumre or say umre ebetie by to contribute and to listen. Okay. Sorry, someone just asked a question. Do you recommend going to the gym? Yes, I do. I do recommend to go to the gym. However, going to the gym is not the only solution, or is not the only way you can achieve physical wellness, if I can put it that way. Me myself, motivation gym. There are things I like to do at home, but all you need to know is that what you're doing is effective for you. If going to the gym is effective for you, if you have good guidance, then please go to the gym and do it. But if you don't have good guidance, you may well stay at home and do things, and you may benefit from it. How structured is your program? Why you're doing what you're doing? So if you're twisting, or if you're doing a bicep curl, why are you doing it? Are you doing it well? Or why are you doing it this weight? Or why are you not putting less weight and doing it more? Or why are you not doing it less but putting more weight? You just have to know why you're doing things to get the benefits of going to the gym or any physical activity that you do. The key is not as they say, it's not about the quantity, but it's about the quality. So it's about how you do it. It's not about how often you go to the gym or how often you train. This, the reason why we spoke about today is the first time we go into a specific topic. We spoke about the 7 fundamental movements. It's things that we do on our daily lives. But unfortunately, most of us do it wrong. That's why today we're here to learn about how to do it right. And you'll be surprised that as you do it right, you see a change in your lifestyle. If you learn to twist properly, if you learn to walk properly, if you learn to push and pull properly, if you learn to lunge properly, if you learn to twist properly, repeated myself, but all these things we spoke about, say in a year, you see a change. Okay. So if there's no more questions, Richmond Media, Richmond Radio, your brother must say, send your so that we can learn about the benefits of our physical
Richmond Radio
aspects, our physical well-being. Saying that yebenya apumudia eshenyonyam for ourselves and for God. You'll see you can only make a change if you start doing something different. All right. Richmond Media, Richmond Radio. Malcolm Champon, Madam Wasibibre, say Enyumre, Mbakaya. Feel free, you can still share the link, even though we are ending now. Someone may benefit from what we spoke about today. Next week, we're going to talk about a different topic. Make sure it's going to be a very, very interesting one. Very interesting one. Make sure that you tune in first of all, and make sure that you share. You tell a friend to tell a friend. Catch Obina or being so enya na famodie. Richmond Media, Richmond Radio. Thank you and enjoy your evening.